And we're back for more. Yesterday we solved some equations with 2 steps, and today, we're just going to add a whole bunch of steps, and it will be great, great fun, at least for me. So 2.3, solving multi-step equations. Don't forget to put stuff back into your table of contents. Your essential question for the day: what is the process you follow to solve multi-step equations? I liked how the book stated they give an essential understanding, and today we're just going to solve multi-step equations, and when you do that you form a series of simpler equivalent equations. To do this you use the properties of equality, inverse operations, and properties of real numbers. You'll use the properties until you isolate the variable. That's not something that you need to write down unless you choose to. I just thought it was a really good explanation. We're going to do some simpler equivalent equations by distributing and combining like terms, and then we'll do some inverse operations and use some properties. And so as we just get a process, it will get to be fun. So let's start. Problem number 1, combining like terms. So what I want you to do is write down this problem. So 5 equals 5m minus 23 plus 2m. And what we'll do, we'll solve one together, and then I want you to pause it and you solve the next one on your own, right? So the first thing I'm always going to do is draw a line down the middle just to keep organized. I always want you to do that because organization is good. And then I look at it and I say, all right, what do I have? I've got a 5m I noticed, and I've got a positive 2m. Well, whenever you see more than one variable, you can just combine them. So I think I've got 5m's plus 2m's. I'm going to put those two together and get 7 total m's. Then I've still got this minus 23. So that's why in chapter 1 we were doing a bunch of combining like terms, and I made you all do all of those nasty IXLs. Not because I'm trying to be mean, but because it's super useful as we go through and solve equations. Now, what's being done here? 7 times m plus 20 or minus 23. So in order to undo the next thing, I'm going to add 23 to both sides. Again, if I talk too fast, you just slow me down. So over here I get 28 equals 7m. What do you do now? Yep, divide by 7. So I get 4 equals m. I always box my answer, and then I quick think, okay, 5 times 4, I could plug it back in. That gives me 20 minus 23, that's negative 3, plus 2 times 4 is 8. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. Yep, I did it correctly. So I want you to push pause, and I want you to answer this one down here. 11m minus 8 minus 6m equals 22. So when I did that one, I got 6. So look through my work. If you did not get 6, follow through what I did and figure out what happened. My guess is it's right here with this minus. But just check and see. So if you need to pause, totally cool, do that. And then hop with the next one. This one, solving a multi-step equation. But there's words. Words are not scary, folks. You just read them, and if you need to read it out loud to yourself, please do. So Martha takes her niece and nephew to a concert. Oh, I went to a concert last weekend. It was awesome. She buys t-shirts and bumper stickers for them. The bumper stickers cost $1 each. Martha's niece wants 1 t-shirt and 4 bumper stickers. I think that's going to be important. And her nephew wants 2 shirts, no bumper stickers. Martha's total is $67. What is the cost of 1 shirt? All right, so here's my thought process. We've got the whole family together. We've got the niece. We've got the nephew, and they each want some stuff. The girl wants 1 shirt and 4 bumper stickers. So are you okay if I take 1S and add just $4 since each one is $1? Good. And the nephew wants 2 shirts, and all together, what do they equal? 67. Okay. So I can write an equation with this little picture. If pictures help, please, by all means, draw a picture. So here's what I've got. One shirt for the nephew, or for the niece, plus her 4 bumper stickers. And then the 2 shirts for the nephew. And altogether that equals 67. So I'm going to draw a line down. I want this to be this piece. You don't have to write the whole question, but do you see how I highlighted? That was helpful to me. Let's go through and I want you to write it down and solve it with me. If you want to push pause, great. I'm going to talk through it. The 1s and the 2s, I can put them together so I get 3 s's plus 4 equals 67. If you say to yourself, I don't like the letter S, well, all right, use a T or an X, or it doesn't really matter. Then what do I undo first? Minus 4, minus 4, so I get 63. Drop down my 3s equals 63, divided by 3, and each t-shirt is $21, which actually is pretty reasonable. I got a tank top for $20 at the concert that I went to. We went to Girls of Grace, and we got t-shirts for $25. So that's a pretty good price right there. All right, next one. You try it on your own, push pause, and come back to me. All right, here's my thought process. Noah buys 2 packs of strings. Kate buys 2 packs of strings, so I made a little diagram. I knew that that equaled up to 72. So here's what I wrote. If you wrote something different, kind of figure out, is yours similar, and did you get the same answer of $14 for the guitar strings? If you didn't, stop, look through my work. Why is my work different than yours? And I'm going to keep going, but that's the beauty of a video. All right, this one. Oh my gosh, look at distributed property. I love distributed property. So here we go. Let's do one together, and then you can do one on your own. Again, you can pause, fast forward, whatever. So I'm going to put a line down because I always do. Then I see distributed property. Draw your arrows, folks. So here I get negative 8 times 2 gives me negative 16x. And then negative 8 times 1 is positive 8 equals 36. Now there is a different way that I could have solved this. I'm not going to show you, but if you see a different way and you think, I wonder if I could try this. Try your way and see if it gets you the same answer. Then, so negative 16x, that's timesing right there, just so you know. Plus 8 equals 36. Subtract the 8 from both sides. Drop down my negative 16x. Equals, oh gosh, what is that? 28? Yeah. Then I divide by negative 16, and I think, ew, it doesn't work. Yes, in 8th grade algebra, you will get fractions, and life goes on. It is okay. So all I have to do is simplify that. So what goes into both? 4. So I get 7 over 4, and what's my sign? Negative. So negative 7/4. You just leave it like that. IXL will probably make you change it, but I will not. So you can leave it like that for me. Now, you try this next one. So 18 equals 3 times the quantity of 2x minus 6. And come back to me when you're done. There you have it. My answer was 6. And if you're like, no, it wasn't, well, I'm fairly sure I'm right. And so if I plugged it in there, 12 minus 6 is 6 times 3, 18. I'm right. So if you're not, figure out where was it and check, see my green writing? Check in there and see if that was where you missed it. And now on to problem 4, solving an equation that contains fractions. There are 2 ways to do it, one way with fractions and one way without. I'm thinking you might like the way without, but I'll show you the other way first. Generally, you would probably see, hey, I could make common denominators. You bet you could. So let's see, what would be a good common denominator? 12 and 12. Well, if I did that, this 4 times 3 and times 3. So I would get 9/12 x minus times 4 minus 4/12 x equals 10. Well, that gives me 5/12 x equals 10. How do I undo the 5 twelfths? Well, since it's times by 5, you divide by 5, divided by 12, times by 12. Really, that's just your reciprocal. And then over here, I do times 12 over 5. And if you want, look at 10 over 5 gives you 2 over 1. If you don't like that, you just go 10 times 12 divided by 5. And you still get x equals 24. I gotta tell you, that is not my favorite way. I would rather do this. I'm going to go back in and erase this off and say, hey, can I get rid of all of those bottom numbers? And the answer is yes, you can. Watch this. Would you agree with me that 4 and 3 both go into 12? Because 4 times 3 equals 12. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take every single piece and use kind of the distributive property and multiply everything by 12. So times 12, times 12, times 12. If I do that, over on the side, I get 120. And you have to multiply every single piece. So 12 times 3 divided by 4. But also, watch this 12 and the 4 simplify to 3. Because 12 over 4 is 3 over 1. So I actually get 9 x's here. And over here, 12 times 1 divided by 3 minus 4x. Do you see how that looks a lot the same as this one over here? So it looks just like this one over here. And then look at what I can do. I've got 9x's minus 4x's. Well, that gives me 5x's equals 120. And so I can undo that, divide by 5, all is well. Does the answer come out the same? Yes, I still have 24. All right, we're gonna go to the next page and you try this one and come back. Either way, I'll show you. Well, there you have it. I got 60 over 23 on both of them, which looked kind of gross. I gotta tell you, I think that this way over in green is a bazillion times easier. So if that's not working very well for you, either one of them, that's why we're watching a video at home, so you can just kind of write through, chew on it, and then we'll come in and we'll practice some in class when you've already at least looked at it and you've had a night to sleep on it. All right, so we're going to do one more. What is the solution to 3.5 minus 0.02x equals 1.24? Now this one, the nice thing is, watch this. I'm just going to get rid of the decimals. Could I technically use a calculator? You bet. But watch this. If I multiplied everything by 100, and given we don't use the x, but just to show you what's going on here. If I multiplied this by 100, I would have 350. If I multiplied this by 100, I'd have 2x. And if I multiplied this by 100, I'd have 124. And now I no longer have to worry about those gross decimals. And my life is happy. And I just subtract my 350, and drop down my negative 2x. Over here, let's see. I'm actually going to do 350 minus 124. Gives me 6. 226, but because the negatives win, there we go. I divide by 2, x equals negative 113. Again, the reason we're doing this on video is because some of you are like, oh my gosh, I totally get it, and some of you are like, oh, this is horrible. Well, at least you can go at your own pace, and then we'll talk more about it in the morning. So try one last one, and then you can be done for now. All right, my final answer on this one was 12.55, and I seriously just took out my calculator and did it, which is cool. So I did, do you see how I moved everything over 1,000 because there was tenths, hundreds, thousandths spot? So and check through that. Did you get 12.55? If you didn't, just check and figure out what did I do. So hope this is good. If not, we'll check it out tomorrow, but make sure you have all the notes. Thanks.